Mike Radich here, and I'm now joined on the phone by World Series of Fighting Lightweight Sabah Fadai. Sabah, how are you?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad.
Sabah, you got a fight coming up December 7th at World Series of Fighting 7. How's training been going for the fight?
Training's going very well, man. It's probably one of the best shapes I've ever been in. I feel great. Conditioning is up the roof. And just working on tweaking my game plan day by day.
Mm-hmm. I saw a picture of you recently, and you look very lean. You look like you're pretty close to making weight. Just curious, what are you walking around at right now?
Right now, 182.
Okay. And is that usual for you when you're trying to make 155, or is it a little bit heavier? Is that good for you?
Right now it's a little heavier than normal. I've been doing a lot of strength and conditioning and with my fitness coaches. So I'm a little heavy right now, but the weight shouldn't be a problem to make.
Mm-hmm. Just curious, why have you decided to go back down to 155? I believe your last two fights were at 170. Why the change back to lightweight?
Well, lightweight is always where I want to be.
Right.
170, Cody Karan was just revenge for a buddy, and the last fight was supposed to just be a tune-up fight that didn't go my way, really.
Right. I see. Now, you're going to be taking on Nick Newell on December 7th. What are your thoughts about him as an opponent?
Well, the crazy thing about Nick Newell is everybody knows he's only got half an arm.
Right.
But, I mean, he used it as an advantage, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He's lived his whole life with it, so he knows how to use it as an advantage. Everybody sees it as maybe a disadvantage for him, but, let's face it, when he gets those chokes in, there's no getting out,
Perfect, yep.
So... Mm-hmm. He's 10-0 for a reason. Mm-hmm. This guy's a tough guy, tough opponent. I'm going to give him all the respect that he deserves, and I'm going to treat him like any other opponent, if not even more.
Mm-hmm. You hit the nail right on the head when you said that, when he locks in those chokes, it's kind of a wrap, because his disadvantage, he makes that his advantage, because when he locks in that choke, you go to try to fight his hands, but he doesn't have that other hand, so when he locks it on, it's pretty much, you're going to sleep or you got to tap, because like when he fought Eric Reynolds, that's what happened. Eric Reynolds went to fight a hand and he didn't have it. So just curious, not to give away your game plan or anything, but when you're training for a guy like Nick Newell, how do you do it? How do you do it? Because obviously when you're striking, obviously whoever your sparring partner is doesn't throw the left hand because he doesn't have a left hand. But grappling wise, how do you work that? How do you try to make it as authentic and has try to get the best feel for it when you're going to fight Nick Newell? How do you do that? I'm just curious.
Well, I mean, I just try to fight my game, It doesn't matter grappling-wise or whatever. I can't have anybody cut their arm off and imitate this guy like it's going to be an actual fight.
Right.
It's just not going to happen. So I got to work with what I got, and I got a lot of great grappling partners and stuff like that. So I'm going to use guys that have, both arms. Mm-hmm. If I can get past both arms, I'm sure I can get past his arm too.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Now, without revealing too much about your game plan, what do you think these past 10 fighters have done wrong against him? Have they not respected him enough? Have they, underestimated him because, he doesn't...
That's exactly what it is. I'm sure every one of those opponents came in there way too overconfident, thinking, come on, it's going to be an easy walk in the park, I'm going to beat this guy, he's only got one arm. But little do they know, this guy uses that arm as an advantage. This guy's dangerous. Mm-hmm. You can't underestimate Nick Newell. He's 10-0 for a reason. He's former XFC world champion. Mm-hmm. Everybody goes in this fight against him thinking this is a lose-lose situation for them. Well, right there, it's lose-lose. No matter what, mentally you've already lost. You know what I mean? So when they go into a fight, they've already lost the match. Because this whole fight camp, they're thinking lose, 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 and that's going to keep a negative energy. For me, I mean, I'm gaining a lot. I signed this contract, and the first week, my Twitter was blowing up, my Facebook was blowing up. I'm gaining a lot of publicity from him. You know, that's a win right there. And once I beat Nick Newell, I'm going to be that guy.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Do you find that kind of, not funny? I don't know what the exact word is, but do you find it strange that now, somebody who basically has been an underdog their entire life is now the favorite in this fight? You know, in the past, people were like, I don't really want to take this fight because, if I lose to this guy, everyone's gonna, laugh at me because I lost to a guy with one arm. And now it's flipped the switch, and now it's, hey, I want to be the guy to derail that train. I want to be the guy to beat this guy because 10 guys before me haven't been able to do it. I want to be the guy to solve this puzzle. Do you find it kind of strange that now the roles have been reversed for him?
Yeah, absolutely. He's an athlete, man. Like I said, this guy trains hard. He takes it. He doesn't have a disadvantage. That's the problem here. I don't know what else to say. This guy is very dangerous, and he's a favorite to win this fight because he knows how to fight. Mm-hmm. And right. Everybody is starting to see that he's using that arm as an advantage. Mm-hmm. Right. And that's why he's not an underdog anymore. And it's cool. I like being underdog. I don't mind it. And yeah, I'm definitely going to be that guy that stops his little whatever you said, his train tracks or whatever you said.
Hype train.
The what?
Hype train. Like a lot of momentum, train your own?
Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm. Now, in this fight, do you feel that we're kind of on neutral ground here? Because obviously a lot of people, are in his corner, and a lot of people are hoping he wins, but at the same time, we're fighting in, your home Providence. Do you feel that we're kind of on neutral ground here?
I think so. It's a fight. It's a fight. At the end of the day, it's me and Nick in a cage. Mm-hmm. And that's all that matters, Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter where it is. Yeah, I'm going to have a lot of my teammates and stuff like that, local people who know me. They're going to be out there cheering for me and stuff like that. But let's face it, if any fighter knows that you don't hear the crowd, mm-hmm. I don't anyways. I don't hear the crowd. I only hear my corner, and I hear his corner. Mm-hmm. And that's all I hear.
Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, you took this fight because you feel that this is a fight that you can win. So, where do you feel that you have the advantage in this fight?
Well, I feel that I have the advantage standing up. Mm-hmm. He's a tough wrestler. I feel that his game plan is going to be trying to expose my weakness, and that would be my ground game. However, I have wins with triangle chokes, and I have wins. I've won gold medals in submission competitions in the Pan Asian games in the Philippines, and I'm an all around guy myself. So I don't know what he wants to do, but I feel I have the advantage anywhere I go, mm-hmm. but mainly stand up.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, you're fighting him, so you become very familiar with him because you've studied him, and that's the guy that you're preparing for December 7th. But, how familiar are you with Nick Newell, and how familiar are you with his story? Because obviously you guys come from the same Access TV family, I guess you could say. You fought for MFC, and he fought for XFC, and now you guys are colliding on December 7th. So just curious, how familiar are you with him before you were signed to fight?
I've heard about him before. I heard about there's a guy with, one arm and whatnot. I never really paid much attention to it until, the name was offered to me. And I jumped all over it. I talked to my coaches and stuff like that, and it's a fight that we think that we can easily win. And, I shouldn't say easily. Again, like I say, he's a tough right. opponent. Right. But yeah, it's a fight that we like to take on, and it's a challenge. And that's the farthest I've ever heard of him.
Mm-hmm. Just curious, how did this deal with World Series of Fighting all come together? Were you signed with AFC and then they just acquired your contract, or is this a completely different deal? Could you explain how it came together?
Yeah, I was with AFC, and for a while I was supposed to fight for AFC, and I kept getting pushed back, and then I was told by Darren Owen, just wait around a little bit longer. Big news is coming, and luckily, good thing for me, I waited, and World Series and AFC, they joined forces, and they took on my contract.
Mm-hmm. Considering that your last fight was a loss, were you surprised that they came to you with this offer to fight Nick Newell? Nick Newell, they were supposed to have a four-man lightweight tournament, and then that would determine the first World Series of Fighting lightweight champion. That's been scrapped because JZ Cavalcante got hurt, and then Justin Gaethje and Dan Lozon just fought, and it wasn't like a title eliminator or anything, but Gaethje's probably going to get a title shot. But were you surprised that they came to you because Nick Newell was basically one fight away from a title, and you were coming off a loss? Was there any surprise there?
Well, I mean, I don't think so. Mm-hmm. I don't see there was a surprise there, because everybody knows that I should have won that fight. It was something that just went wrong in the back rooms that I can't really discuss much about. That kind of screwed with me, and anyways, yeah, my legs gave out on me in the third, and it just something went horribly wrong, and it shouldn't have. And everybody knows that I should have won the fight. Yeah, I get it. I came off a loss, but it's just my time, I guess, to prove that I deserve to be here.
Mm-hmm. Not that it matters a whole lot, because you obviously have this great deal with World Series of Fighting, but I'm just curious, what happened with MFC?
Well, I mean, my contract was over with them, and they just weren't paying me enough for my fights, and I figured I move on to a better organization anyways, and AFC had already offered me fights time and time again, and so me and Darren sat down, or we talked about it, and I signed with AFC.
Mm-hmm. I see. Now, you tried out for the Tough Nationals, I guess they're calling it, Australia versus Canada. You tried out for the Ultimate Fighter. I'm going to assume, since you're fighting on December 7th, that you didn't make the show, but what was that experience like?
It was a great experience, man. It was great. I made it to the top 13 or top 11 or 12, whatever it was, welterweights, to join the house, and we did all your medicals and whatnot, blah, 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 the interviews, and I guess it just wasn't my time to get in, and it was a great experience, though. Just the fact that, a lot of people out there in the MMA community now know my name, the producers, Joe Silva, Dana, all these guys, whatever. The more people know about me, the better it is for me, of course. But right now, that doesn't really matter anymore.
Right.
I'm with World Series now, and let's see how it goes, how far we go here.
Yeah, you said it perfectly. It doesn't really matter a whole lot, but just one more thing about the Ultimate Fighter. Did Dana or Joe Silva or whoever was there, did they tell you, you would have been on the show had it not been a different country versus another country? Would you have been a lock to be on the show? Because obviously they have to take some Australian guys because it's Australia versus Canada.
Well, I mean, no, they never told me. It wasn't because I wasn't. Are you asking if I was Canadian or not? Is that the reason?
No. The question was, if it was just the Tough Canada, where it was maybe 16 Canadians in the house, would you have made it on? Like, was that the kind of determining factor of you not getting on the show because of the Australian guys?
Yeah, I would have made it on the show.
Okay,
because they've already picked. They were only picking four welterweights and 4 middleweights. So yeah, I mean, it was a small, short list to be on the show. So I unfortunately didn't make the cut, and that's fine with me.
Okay, I see. Now, was this the first time you ever tried out for a season of The Ultimate Fighter, or have you tried out for a other season?
No, that was the first one ever.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
Now, you're training out of Coltar Gill's gym, and just curious, how long have you known Coltar? Is it a situation where you just kind of showed up to his gym, and that happened to be the kind of way how you met him? Did you know him before that, and then when you tried MMA, you came to him? What's your relationship like with him, and when did it all start?
It all started a long time ago, actually, in I would say 97. In 1997, I got invited by Caleb Starnes actually to join the Fortress fight team, which was a pro facility for all the Revolution fight team crew, and that's all gone now. But Kotar Gill was also part of that team, and me and Kotar started talking. We became friends and whatnot. And I moved out to the Philippines. I had a bunch of fights out there. I studied dentistry out there, but it wasn't really my passion. So when I found out that Kotar opened his own gym down here, I figured, let's move back. Let's take this seriously. Let's go full time with this. And I talked to Kotar. I came back. I started helping him teach classes and whatnot, and we just went from there. I've known Kotar for years.
Just curious, how do you go from someone studying dentistry and someone who's, trying to keep teeth healthy and preserve them and all that stuff to knocking them out on a Saturday night? How does that happen? And just curious, what did your parents say when you say, you know what, I'm not going to be a dentist, I want to be a professional fighter? What was that conversation like?
Well, I mean, it's like wanting to be a criminal or you want to be a police officer, you know what I mean? It's on different sides. So I just chose the side that I guess you can call it the criminal side, where I want to wreck the teeth. My parents weren't happy. I did enjoy it though. I had over like 150, 200 patients. It was a lot of fun, but it just wasn't my passion. During theory and stuff like that, during class, I'd be scheduling what I'm going to be teaching my students in the Muay Thai class that night. It just wasn't my thing, and unfortunately, I mean, my parents really hoped that I was going to become the first doctor in our family, but I'm going to become a doctor of knocking people out.
Is there any possibility maybe 10, 15 years down the road, maybe when your fight career is over, that you might revisit that?
Well, you never know, but I would have to start from the very beginning. With this crazy-ass teammates that I got, they've knocked everything out of my brain so far. And I got none of this theory. I don't remember any of the theories and all the techniques to do fillings and whatnot. I don't remember any of that stuff anymore. My focus, like I said, is now fighting, and I haven't even thought about maybe ever going back to dentistry or whatnot.
I see. Now, you mentioned your teammates. Who are some of your teammates? Who are some of the guys that you work with on a day-to-day basis?
On a day-to-day basis, I work with a guy named Andy Pata, who also lives with me. He's also my roommate. David Moon, Mavia Burke, Gagan Gill, Dane Newell, actually. He's fighting tonight in Vancouver is it tonight? Yeah, it is tonight. He's fighting tonight, so I got to go corner him tonight. And mainly I train with my wrestling coaches, the Talhan Twin Fitness, Raj and Gurv. Talhan brothers, they're very good. They used to, Raj actually used to train with John McDessie and George St. Pierre and all those guys up in Montreal. And so they moved back to Abbotsford, their hometown. And they're very great, both of them. They're very great wrestlers. They got a great head on their shoulder, and they know their fitness inside out. So working with them is not only an inspiration, but they know their shit. So they help me out a lot, and that's where we're at so far.
Do you do any training with Viviano Fernandez?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Viviano comes quite often. But Viviano, he comes in the morning. We train together and stuff like that, and then he goes, maybe comes back in another 3 days, and but his main camp is, of course, is at Matt Heal's gym. Right. Yep. I think it's AMC.
Yep, AMC Pancration. Yep.
Yeah, up in Washington, and he's got a great thing going on over there. He's a great friend, and we train together whenever he's down here.
I know that he no longer trains at your gym, but do you still keep in contact with Cajun Johnson?
Yeah, man, he's my boy. Me and him, we both tried out for the Ultimate Fighter show. We spent time together in Toronto, Yeah, I mean, you know what, man? Like, I don't deal with that politics stuff that comes with all these MMA. A lot of these days now, these MMA guys, they all think they're gangsters or whatever. They're all. I don't like that kind of stuff. I think we should all be friends and learn to work together. But if it comes down to fighting each other, you fight each other. You know. The only people that I wouldn't ever fight is my teammates. And me and Cajun talked about it. If we had both got on the show or whatnot, we would have fought. If it had to come down to it, we would have fought each other. And he knows that, I know that. That doesn't make us any less of a friend. If anything, it makes us closer together, as friends and stuff like that. Cajun's still my boy.
But does it make the situation a little bit easier now that he's training at TriStar and you're still back with Koltar? Does it make it a little bit easier because you don't have kind of you're not in the gym at the same exact time training in the same exact place? Does it make it a little bit easier with that scenario?
Well, I mean, if he was training with us, I would never even imagine fighting him.
Right.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, if I really wanted to fight him, yeah, it makes it a lot easier that he's in TriStar. But I mean, he's now with TriStar, and if it comes down to it, maybe one day we're down the line, we have to meet, then hell, we fight.
Sabah, two more questions before I let you go, and I thank you for being so liberal with your time. But the first question is, I was looking at your Facebook, and I noticed that you've got a very good mustache going, I must say.
Yeah!
Just curious, are you going to continue that? I know, obviously, you probably grew that for Movember, but your fight's in December. Are we going to keep that up?
No, I'm going to get rid of it. This is just for Movember. I lost my aunt to cancer last year, November 27th, and I just thought I a small tribute to my aunt, and my girlfriend freaking hates it. So it's gonna go. I personally don't really like it myself, but it's a little sacrifice that you got to make for all these cancer patients, cancer survivors, and for all the people who are helping a loved one fight cancer.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a great stash. I gotta say it again. It's such a good stash.
So my dad has a mustache for over 35 years or something like that, and he loves my mustache. He keeps telling me to keep it. I'm thinking about it maybe, but I don't know.
Definitely. Now, one more thing about your Facebook, and this will be the last question, but one more thing about your Facebook. You teased a little big news coming from World Series of Fighting. Do we have an update? Do we have anything that we can break here?
Nope. I don't know nothing.
Are you sure? Are you holding out on me?
Man, there's no way you're gonna get anything out of me.
Okay.
I don't know anything.
Okay, I had to try.
I'm a vault, man. Locked down, like Will Smith says.
Okay, I had to try. Sabah, real quick before I let you go, do you have any sponsors you'd like to thank, and is there anything you'd like to say to the fans?
Yeah, absolutely, man. My sponsors, Dr. Victor Chan, my naturopath, and Performax Physio, who always help me tweak my joints whenever I'm injured or whatnot. They keep me in tip-top shape. And Fuel Supplements here in Abbotsford supply me with all the infinite amount of nutrition that I require for staying healthy and keeping my weight up to par.
Sabah, thank you for taking the time to talk. I really appreciate it. Good luck December 7th at World Series of Fighting 7 against Nick Newell.
My pleasure, man. Thanks a lot for having me on the show.